Your current driver was likely fitted to you within the last 5 years. If it was, the club head itself is not the bottleneck. The United States Golf Association has frozen the key performance limits: head size at 460 cubic centimeters, spring effect at a coefficient of restitution of 0.83, moment of inertia tightly capped, since the year 2004. Every driver built after that date operates inside the same box of physics. There is no secret titanium alloy that unlocks an extra 20 yards. There is no aerodynamic breakthrough the industry is holding back for next spring. The actual variable that determines how far the ball travels is something far less exciting: how well the shaft matches your swing speed, tempo, and transition force. If those numbers line up, the year stamped on the sole means nothing. The Golf Science Lab ran a blind test with 30 amateur players hitting a 3-year-old driver against the flagship model from the same brand. The average distance difference across all swings was 2.8 yards. That is not a gap you feel on the course. That is a gap that exists only in the launch monitor printout and the marketing department's imagination. The first sign is simple. If your driver is less than 5 years old and was professionally fitted, the head is not the reason you are not scoring better. Here is the second sign, and it is the one most golfers refuse to face. Your miss pattern is not a driver flaw, it is a repetition signature. The slice that starts at the target line and then turns right, the low pull that never gets airborne, the high fade that balloons into a 30-mile-per-hour headwind, these are not equipment failures. These are face angle and swing path errors that the club has learned to expect. You have trained your body to deliver that same face position at impact, round after round. The modern driver is already the most forgiving object in the bag. The moment of inertia on a current generation head is so high that a miss hit a full inch toward the toe loses less than 10 yards of carry. A new driver at the same loft, with the same shaft profile, will not change your face angle. It will only reinforce the same signature with a prettier paint job. That signature is worth examining. If you want to stop chasing false upgrades and start understanding your own swing, subscribe, because this channel breaks down the real math behind equipment decisions. Drop your most common miss pattern in the comments, slice, hook, or low pull, and see how many others share your signature. A professional lie and loft check on your existing head, combined with a lead tape adjustment of 2 grams, can alter your launch angle by nearly 1 full degree. That 90-minute appointment costs roughly $50. A new driver costs $600. One of these actually changes your ball flight, the other just postpones the realization that the problem was never the tool. The third sign requires a little data, but the data is free. Your driver does not need replacing if your launch numbers already sit inside the optimal corridor for your swing speed. For a golfer who swings between 85 and 95 miles per hour, the ideal launch window sits between 12 and 14 degrees of launch angle with spin between 2400 and 2800 revolutions per minute. If your current driver produces numbers anywhere inside that range, the ceiling on your carry distance is already set by your club head speed, not by the equipment. No new head can defy physics. A launch monitor session at a quiet pro shop on a weekday afternoon costs nothing if you ask politely. The information you get back might save you the entire cost of an upgrade you did not need. The fourth sign is the hardest to face. It is also the most liberating. Your average score has not changed because of distance. Think about it carefully. In a typical round, a mid-handicap golfer hits maybe 3 drives that they would describe as perfectly struck. Those 3 balls might travel 5 to 8 yards farther with a new head. That is 3 holes where you gain a few steps of approach, shot length. But the same golfer also loses an average of 3.4 balls per round to penalty strokes off the tee, according to the National Golf Foundation's most recent amateur survey. That is 14 to 18 yards lost per hole in the wrong direction, followed by a drop and a penalty stroke. The net effect of gaining 3 good drives while losing the same number to the woods is a wash. Your score does not move. The upgrade you are chasing is not about the driver. It is about the fantasy that a cleaner sound at impact will somehow fix a decision-making pattern that has been baked in over hundreds of rounds. The real upgrade costs nothing. It is the discipline to aim 15 yards toward the fat part of the fairway instead of the pin. It is the willingness to accept a 7-iron from the short grass instead of a wedge from a hazard. If you have ever stood in the pro shop with a credit card in your hand after flushing 3 in a row on the simulator, and then you paid $600 and immediately saw the same shot shape on the first tee, you know exactly how this mechanism works. The purchase is not about the club. It is about hope. And the industry has built an entire economy on selling hope to golfers who already own the club they need. So the next time you feel that pull toward the pro shop, recognize it for what it is. Subscribe to keep seeing through these industry loops. There is a full series on the hidden economy of golf gear. In the comments, tell us about a club you bought purely on hope. Did it deliver, or was it just another confirmation that the tool was never the problem? The mechanism works because each sign looks like an equipment problem on the surface. The slice looks like the club is too upright. The distance loss looks like the face is too old. The score plateau looks like the technology has passed you by. But underneath each assumption sits a different truth. The slice was there with the previous driver and the one before that. The distance loss matches your swing speed, not the club head. The score plateau matches your short game, not your tee shots. The cumulative waste across the average golfer's lifetime is staggering. Replacing a driver every 2.7 years at an average cost of $550 means that by the time you are 55, you have spent roughly $6,000 on a piece of equipment that has not meaningfully improved your scores since you were 30. That money did not buy better golf. It bought the comforting feeling that you were still trying. $6,000 over a lifetime is a heavy price for comfort. If this resonates with you, there's a lot more where this came from. Link in the description. Subscribe to join a community that's done chasing unearned upgrades. And in the comments, take a moment to estimate what you have spent on drivers since you started playing. The number might be the wake-up call you need. The path forward is not complicated. Get your launch numbers checked on your current driver. Spend the $50 on a lie and loft adjustment and a shaft frequency check. Then go play 3 rounds with the explicit rule that you aim for the widest part of the fairway, even if it means leaving the driver in the bag for half the holes. If the scores drop, you will know the truth. And the truth is that the 4 signs were never about the club at all. They were about the way the industry has convinced you to keep buying what you already own. The driver you already own is capable of more than the marketing department wants you to believe. It will not unlock a perfect score, because no club can do that, but it will perform within the same narrow window of physics as anything on the rack. The $4,500 you save over the next 10 years, invested in lessons and practice rounds, will lower your handicap more reliably than a decade of new heads ever could. The 4 signs are not excuses to stay cheap. They are permission to stop chasing a solution that was never the problem. The next time you walk through the pro shop and your hand hovers near the new driver rack, pause. Remember the launch numbers, the miss pattern, the free data, and the quiet truth that your score has not changed because of distance. Then step past the rack and head to the range. You already own the right club. The signs work together because each one attacks a different layer of the illusion. The age of your driver seems relevant until you remember the rules are frozen. The miss pattern seems like a fitting problem until you check the face angle. The launch numbers seem mysterious until you ask a pro shop for 10 minutes of their time. The score stagnation seems like a distance gap until you count the penalty strokes. Every layer of the argument for a new driver falls apart when you pull the thread. That is why the industry presents them all at once, wrapped in a single $600 price tag. They do not want you to separate the 4 signs. They want you to feel a vague, undifferentiated sense that your equipment is old and your game is suffering. The moment you isolate each sign and test it, the illusion dissolves. The club you own either passes or fails, and the pass rate for a well-fitted driver that is less than 60 months old is somewhere above 95%. That 95% figure is not speculation. It is the result of honest testing. Subscribe to get more data-driven breakdowns like this, where we separate fact from marketing. In the comments, run the 4 signs on your own driver and let us know. Does it pass or fail? Watching the collective results will tell you more than any ad ever will. The money you are about to spend on a new head belongs somewhere else. It belongs in a lesson that fixes the face angle. It belongs in a practice session that builds a repeatable swing path. It belongs in the greens fees for the 3 extra rounds you can play every year when you stop replacing a tool that still works. The driver you have is not a compromise. It is a precision instrument that the market has convinced you to doubt. The 4 signs are not a justification for staying stuck. They are a framework for knowing when the change is real versus when it is manufactured. If your driver passes all 4 checks, and it almost certainly does, there is no upgrade on the rack that will change your relationship with the game. The only change that matters is the one that happens between your ears when you step onto the first tee and finally trust what you already own. And here is the quietest truth of all. The industry has spent decades perfecting a single message: that your dissatisfaction with your game is caused by your equipment. Every advertisement, every launch video, every influencer with a promo code reinforces the same loop. Hit it farther, score better, feel newer. But the loop only works if you believe that the tool is the problem. The moment you stop believing, the entire engine stalls. The evidence is already in your bag. Your driver has been on your side this entire time, producing the same launch window it was designed to deliver, holding the same forgiveness it was engineered to provide. The only thing that changed was your perception of it. And that perception was shaped by a system that profits from your doubt, not from your improvement. So the next time the spring advertisements arrive and the voice in your head starts whispering that your driver is outdated, run the 4 checks. Look at the year, examine the miss, check the launch numbers, count the penalty strokes. If all 4 signs point to the same conclusion, trust it. The club you have is not holding you back. It is waiting for you to stop looking for the answer somewhere else.